This is super exciting. This is something that is supposedly not able to be done with a Mustang Mach-E, but we are plugged in to this solar system over here, this house. The Mach-E can power the house. That's right, bidirectional charging with this Sigenergy device and system. So we're gonna show you all the details of this coming up.
Let's go. I'm Liv.
I'm Patrick.
We're the electric duo, and we are here at an actual homeowner's home. We're at Adam's house, and he has this amazing install. We're going to chat with him, and we're still going to chat with Rob from Sigenergy. We're going to give you guys all the lowdown, all the details about this, and we're literally powering this house with our Mach-E. Nothing's been done to it. It's so cool. Let's get into it.
We're going to start by introducing Adam. You're the homeowner.
I am.
And you sought this system for specific needs. And you want to tell us about the process of and how you found Sigenergy?
Yeah. So I actually found them as Point Guard, which is what it says on there. So they are now Sigenergy, but I found them as Sigenergy actually via YouTube. A video from somebody in Australia had the system installed, and I thought, that's the last piece of the puzzle for EVs. You know, if you own EVs, this combines everything. So you can power your house and trickle solar into your car. It's amazing.
It's a very flexible, because right now, we flipped it now because the sun is out. We're doing what you would actually do. It's use the excess solar going into the car.
Straight into the car. Yeah.
But you can charge from the grid. You can literally charge from the battery.
Yeah.
You can charge or transfer power from the Mach-E, which is unheard of,
right,
into the battery or into the house, or technically even into the grid.
Yeah. It's wherever you want your energy, you get to choose where it is. So I emailed them when I saw that video. I got eventually into contact with an installer here, and as soon as the system was available, I pulled the trigger.
That's so cool. And how has it been? You got it? You have a Rivian, you have a Mach-E.
Yes.
And it's all working pretty well.
So it works flawlessly with the Mach-E, and it does work with the Rivian, but for shorter periods of time. The Mach-E, I plug it in, I forget about it. And the Rivian, the full functionality of that is coming from the Rivian side in 2026. And I don't know why the Mach-E works. Ford says it's not supposed to work with V2X, but it's flawless. It's really good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And just how has it been being able to control your own power? Because I think that's the real cool part of all of this, is that it isn't just it's doing one of these functions. It's the fact that you're in control.
Right. I have had one experience where the power did go out, and I wasn't well educated on the system at that point. It was an early version of the app, and I didn't get to take advantage of running the house with things. But I have since done loads of testing. It's sort of fun to just come out here and flip the power off from the grid and just giggle a little bit oh my gosh, my car is running everything. You know, the battery's at a low percentage and the car is just running everything. So it's really cool.
And we should mention that you have put some of these on YouTube. So you do have some YouTube videos out there. We'll put a link to his channel so you can sort of check the install and just sort of the giddiness, the giggling over it.
It's fun. It's fun.
Yeah. Yeah. And I really think it's cool that you really sought out this solution, because nobody's really doing anything like this. Not with a Mach-E, but really not with any car right now.
None of them.
Without putting in proprietary. And the fact that it does even, that it's coming with the Rivian, it does work a little bit. It works with the Mach-E, but having flexibility in it, it's not a proprietary system.
Yeah, exactly. We can sell a Rivian and get something else. We can sell a Mach-E. In theory, I could use an adapter and use the Leaf, my daughter's car. So it should work with everything. And as the new communication standards are agreed on, hopefully it works with more and more vehicles, which is, it's amazing.
So do you find that you are using the EV battery a lot to supplement your own battery that's in there?
Yes. So right now, historically, I've been on NEM2, and that means that I think it's a 1-for-1 trade. And NEM3, which is what I had to go on to in order to get the system installed with more solar, it's a little different. But historically, I kind of saved up all my excess solar all year. And then I kind of traded it in when I'm at these really high peak use months for sort of July through September or October. So I specifically got a small battery system. So that's only 16 kilowatts of power, which is enough normally to run the house 24 hours with, still sending excess to the grid or to the EVs. But during these peak months,
with AC,
it eats through that by about 9 p.m. So then, that's through the peak use hours, but I want it to run all night off of our own energy. So I hook up the Mach-E as soon as my wife gets home right now. And then the Mach-E, it actually maintains the battery level of the house batteries and starts discharging from the car. That's the way I have it set up in the app. So that then if we had to leave at some point, the house batteries still have enough juice in them to keep running the house without the EV attached.
That's really cool.
And I've actually been experimenting. This is the first month I've done it with discharging to the grid and selling that electricity during 7 to 9 p.m., which is theoretically the peak rate that SDG&E will pay for power. I don't know how that's going to work out. I'll have to wait for the first of the month and we'll see, but it's a fun test. It's cool I get to do it.
Yeah, and if you guys are unfamiliar with NEM 2, NEM 3, those are very complicated, basically laws, and combined with SDG&E, where we're down here in San Diego, it gets very complicated how we manage our power, sell our power, pay for our power.
Right.
But everywhere is sort of complicated. And we'll jump into that in a little bit about how this system can help manage that. Because it actually, and I'm doing the same thing like with a home battery in just my home office, where I charge it at night. And then I use the energy during the day. I can't put it back in the grid, but it's like shifting my costs. I think I make about 20 cents a day doing that. But it makes me happy that it's not going to the power company. So.
Yes, it's in theory a completely off-grid system, which is that's amazing. The power could be out for 2 weeks. I could run my cars. I can run the AC. I can use the house. There would be no lifestyle change required on my part, which is
cool. And I think that's the key for a system like this, is that if you would have bought like 30 kilowatt hours of battery, that would be great. But when it's gone, it's gone.
Yes.
When you have an EV plugged in and you're like, oh, we're down to 10 kilowatt hours. Again, if it's a giant power outage, the whole area, you might, have to, calculate that in.
Exactly.
But if you could run down to the nearest Electrify America or something like that, charge it back up. Now
and
you
bring it home.
For home power. It's the same as like if you have a diesel generator and you go get your fuel. So I think that's one of the things that people are going to be really into in the future, is being able to like, my energy, I can carry it with me. I can power my house. I can power it to go to the store,
And batteries are expensive, right? So like having a bigger house bank of batteries is so much. And I already have, between the 3 EVs in the driveway, I have 208 kilowatts of power, so to be able to tap into that without spending more on, a 40 kilowatt house battery bank, that's fantastic. That's value for me.
And you have quite a few solar panels. How many do you have?
35.
35. So the other really cool thing about this is like, this is DC charging the car. So we're not limited. So what peak speeds have you seen? So
I can get to 20.1 or 0.2. It kind of hovers there.
20.1, 20.2 kilowatts.
Consistent.
That's amazing.
It'll do that for an extended period. So
and it could actually go up higher, but it's part of your inverter limitation.
Correct. So if I had a DC coupled solar system, I could charge up to 25 kilowatts. So I think I will eventually add some additional DC panels just to get to that. But all of my system is AC, so I'm limited by the inverter, which is still a very impressive 11.4.
I just thought about this, like we're getting ready to bring somebody else in and talk about this, but I just want to show you. I'm going to go ahead, take a screenshot right now of Ford Pass. I'm charging at 10.7 kilowatts right now.
There you go.
That's amazing. Like, that's so cool. And that's also powering your house.
So it's running the house. The washer's on right now. We're probably that high because the air conditioning cycled off. So it'll cycle on again,
Right.
and we might drop to about 5 kilowatts or so. But yeah, any extra is going straight into the car.
And that's the cool thing too, and we'll get into that with Rob, is that you can sort of say like, don't ever pull from the grid.
Right.
So when the AC kicks on, charging goes down.
Correct.
But you can also, it's your power. You can do what you want. You can
Yeah.
be like full power car, full power AC, pull
Yeah.
from the grid when you need, but it's your choice.
Yeah, if I'm going to be home, I was gone all day, I come home for lunch, I can ramp up the juice and send max to the car, 20 kilowatts for, an hour while I'm home. And that's actually a significant amount of power, if I've got somewhere else further away to go later in the day. So
That's really cool.
it's fantastic.
Well, thank you for
Thank you.
allowing us to plug in and experience this sort of something I never thought we would see with the Mach-E.
No, I was told it was vaporware for years, and here it is.
Yeah.
So
Very cool.
thank you so much.
All right, thanks. Okay, now we're going to introduce you to Rob, and actually I'll let you introduce yourself and Sigenergy.
Sure. My name is Rob Schwartzinger. I'm the CEO of Point Guard Energy. We are in the middle of a rebrand to Sigenergy North America. And so I run the North American business in the US and Canada.
And Signergy is global
Yes.
and working all around the world. And you guys were Point Guard here, but this is part of the rebrand. And we know a little bit about that, going from machevlog to the electric duo. So all under the same name now.
Exactly. We're the global brand is optimizing under one brand. We've been incredibly successful in other parts of the world, in Europe, South Africa, Australia. So we have a very strong global footprint, and because of the strength of the global brand, we're now rebranding back to Sigenergy.
So let's go ahead. I know everybody's waiting to hear, let's dive into this, and we'll get into how we're able to do bidirectional with the Mach-E. But let's talk about the system, do an overview of it, and you tell me what everything is.
Sure. So what you're seeing here is quite different from other companies that are working on bidirectional DC chargers. Usually you have a DC charger that is a separate unit, you mount it on the wall. It takes a position in your breaker box, in your electrical panel, and then you can discharge. So those are some of the new bidirectional chargers. What we have done is we come from the solar and energy storage side of the business, and so what we've done is we have created a modular, flexible system that unites solar, home batteries, and now a bidirectional DC EV charger all in one integrated stack architecture that is flexible in terms of how much battery power you want to have. And so it basically unites all of those segments so that you can use it at your home, with your car, in any way that you want. Right?
Very cool.
And that's very unique. The other new bidirectional chargers that are on the market and that are coming, you really can't use your solar or your battery very well. But in this integrated architecture, we're able to do a lot of things that nobody else can do. And that's a benefit to homeowners all around the world.
So this is sort of the key component, is putting it all basically in this and controlling it all, versus having these separate things that you're trying to reach outside the box to control.
Exactly. Yeah. Maybe I'll give you a quick run through of what you're seeing here. So this right here is what we're calling our controller. It's an inverter. It can take in solar energy directly from your roof and handle the solar energy. It also will convert the battery DC power into AC power so that you can use it in the home. And it will also convert the DC power coming from your charger, from your EV, into AC power so that you can use it in your home. So this is a modular, stackable system. So think of it like Legos, right? You can, this right here is a battery pack. This is a battery pack. You can add more battery packs just by stacking more into the stack. And then finally, you can include optionally this bidirectional DC EV charger. So you can faster charge your EV at home, and you can also discharge your EV at home so that you can back up your home in a power outage, or you can use your EV battery to offset some of the higher rate utility costs,
Yeah.
right? And so then the controller is what controls this whole stack architecture. The flexibility that comes with a stackable system is, it means for you or for the homeowner that you could start with only solar, and then you would only have this device right here. You could start with solar and battery. So you would have this device plus however many batteries you want, right? And then finally you can add the charger, or you can use the controller and the charger as only a bidirectional DC EV charger, right? Without solar and without home battery. So the flexibility is huge because it's designed to be flexible. It's designed to grow with the homeowner's needs over time. So you can come back at any time, stack another battery pack into the system, or add the charger, and you have full flexibility during the life cycle of the system.
And that flexibility extends to like somebody like Adam. He had solar on the roof. So this is a third-party system, and you're able to integrate that. Plus, at the same time, you added more solar panels. So just overall, it seems like the key to the system is the flexibility of doing whatever the homeowner needs.
Yes, exactly. So you're right. So this right here is a combiner panel for existing solar, an existing solar inverter solution. And so we can accommodate that solar energy from a third-party system, an already existing solar system, into our system. What provides the highest benefit to homeowners who want to basically use the battery system or your EV is to plug the solar directly into our controller. So it's a difference between, we call that AC coupled solar, when we add an already existing solar array to our system. That's AC coupled because the solar is already converted into AC. And a DC coupled system, so the solar produces natively DC electricity, and you can connect that right into our controller. It takes that DC electricity, and then you have your choice of what you want to do, right? You can import it into your home and service loads. So that means the solar electricity is converted to AC. Or you could send it directly to charge your batteries in its native DC form. So there's no DC to AC and then back to DC conversion. Or you can send the solar, the native DC solar electricity directly to the charger and charge your car in native DC electricity.
And that's something that's key, is like, and we'll review EV chargers, home EV chargers, but you know, and people will point it out to us, and we know better. It's actually not an EV charger, because it's basically providing AC power to the car.
Right.
Then the inverter on board is converting that to DC that the car needs. So technically the charger's on the car, but this is truly basically, you know, cables going out over here and into the Mach-E. Yeah. Now we're truly have a DC charger right here.
That's right. So, so the conversion in our system happens in our inverter. So if you're importing AC electricity from the grid, this inverter converts it to DC, and then it sends it directly to the car, which circumvents the onboard charger, which the EV's onboard charger is used when you're plugging in with an AC charger, and then the car actually converts the electricity to DC. The losses for onboard chargers are about 10%, so it's significant. This is a much, much higher efficiency inverter, 98% plus. And so you are saving, 8 efficiency points at least every time you're charging your car, or every time you're discharging your car, right? So yes, this is basically straight DC electricity into your car, circumventing the onboard charger so that the car's batteries can use the DC power directly.
That's really cool. And then of course the magic as well is like it's pulling DC from the car into this, and then it could go stay DC straight to the battery, or it can then invert it and put AC into the house.
Exactly. So in a common use case is the power goes out, and now you're wanting to back up your home. So you can now use the EV's battery to back up your home. So the charger pulls electricity out of the EV, it discharges the EV, and then sends it up to the controller, which will convert it into AC, and then it goes into your home to fully back up your home, right? And you can do that either with your EV or with your batteries or with both of them together, right?
Oh,
So
cool.
they will work in unison to back up your home or to perform other functions like time of use, offset. So to offset high utility rate costs, where your cheaper solar or EV electricity will take over and save you money.
So like if you want to just avoid using anything from the grid from 7 to 9,
Mm-hmm.
you could say use this battery. And
Exactly.
this is probably a good point to, like, you showed me a little bit of the app. So let's take a look at the app, because I think this is like where it really wins out, is like the flexibility that we have with the app. And we'll turn around to Liv. Actually, we'll do it this way. We'll have Point Guard right in the back, and we'll show Liv the screen.
So this is Adam's home system, and on the home screen, you're seeing kind of a comprehensive, what's happening in Adam's home.
So very, very simple to see. It's like it's pulling from solar.
Mm-hmm. Yep, the solar is producing 7.85 kilowatts right now. It is coming into our energy gateway, and it is going into the home. So it's servicing loads in the home. It is also charging the batteries. And then the system is also charging the car, right? So you see the light going to the charger.
Right.
And because we're charging the car, we're also pulling 8.75 kilowatts from the grid, right? So this is a great comprehensive view for the homeowner to see, okay, what's happening right now? How much is my solar producing? Is my solar taking care of all of my home loads? Is it charging the batteries? So a great overview to know what's going on.
And we're like Saturday during non-peak hours or super off-peak hours in SDG&E terms. So that's why it's pulling from the grid. But like if we were in peak, it can manage all of that. And it's sort of like monitoring a bit of that itself. But you can also do some stuff with it manually, correct?
Yes, you can. So I just want to point out on the left here, we are charging, DC charging at 11 kilowatts.
And I'm going to pull up Forward Pass so we can sort of see.
Okay.
We're not losing 8%. So let's see, what is it at? 10.7.
Okay.
So yeah, it's like it's barely any loss compared to an AC charging session.
Yes, exactly. So then I'd like to show you a couple of other things. So we, in our battery system, we have the ability to show you how much of the stored electricity comes from what energy sources. So if you click on here on usable energy, you can see that we have partitioned the battery into the power sources. So we're seeing that 9.41 kilowatt hours of electricity, of storage, it came from the third-party inverter. That's Adam's third-party solar system. 2.48 kilowatt hours came from the EV DC. That's the bidirectional DC EV charger. So there is 10.48 kilowatt hours of juice basically in the battery from the car, and then 1.37 kilowatt hours of stored electricity came from the grid. So then you can, right underneath this diagram of the battery, you can basically create your own discharging priority. So you can actually drag these and change the order of these. You can command the system to discharge your solar stored electricity first, for example, or your EV stored electricity first. So gives you a little bit more control over your power usage and how you want to handle your system. So then down below we have what's called a Sankey diagram.
Right.
A Sankey diagram shows electricity flow, power flow from different sources to different destinations, right? So we basically have several sources, what we're calling sources, on the left side. So we have solar, we have battery right underneath it, we have the EV DC, the EV right underneath that, and then the grid in purple underneath that. And so all of the the bands that you're seeing point to where that power is going. And the cool thing about a Sankey diagram is the width of the bands show you and illustrate the amount of power, right? So they tell you how much power is flowing by the width of the arrows. So you can then tap on solar, and then you're only seeing what your solar is doing. So for example, your solar has charged the battery at 6.29 kilowatt hours. It has also charged your EVDC. It has also taken care of the home loads, and the solar also, any excess solar has been exported to the grid. So that's how you read that. You can come back and add all of the other sources, and then you can press on battery, for example. The battery so far has only taken care of the home's loads, right? So this gives you a very detailed view of where the electricity is going that you're either producing yourself, storing yourself, importing from the grid, or discharging from your EV.
Just a very, very quick way and very easy to sort of just see as things are flowing.
Exactly.
And it's really cool because like that's really electricity. It's like flowing, and this is really showing the destination and the source. So that's awesome.
Yes, yes.
Okay, we had to pause to get all the screen recordings going because what I wanted to actually show is the thing that they said couldn't be done, but we're literally pulling power from the Mach-E and sending it into the house right now. So I'm going to show, well, we're going to pop up my screen recording with car scanner. I have it hooked up to the car, and it says it's putting in 12.5 kilowatts into the car right now, and we can see it on the apps as well. So we got Adam's phone, your phone. We're recording everything.
Yes. So we are now discharging the EV at 9.1 kilowatts. And at the same time, the solar is producing 8.19 kilowatts. The home loads are at 5.74 kilowatts. And so it's actually also exporting power to the utility, to the grid at 13.85 kilowatts. We can play with those settings and set it as a non-export system, and then it would not export anything to the grid. It would just pull as much as it needs from the EV on top of what the solar is doing.
That's so cool, and that's sort of the idea is like you can literally just change the priority, control what you want to use, when you want to use it, or how you want to use it. So I love that flexibility. And if it were super expensive right now, we wouldn't want to be doing this. Of course, we're going to just do it for the demo purposes. And I'm like, that is just so cool. Like, I never thought I would see power coming out through that port.
It's 10.5 kilowatts right now. I can show you where to change the priority. So the battery discharging priority right here. And this is a drag and drop functionality where I can change the order of priority of what's discharging.
That's really cool. Yeah, I mean, this is just amazing technology to see, and it's all due to that box there, being able to have everything right there.
That's right.
And so now a lot of people are going to ask, like, is this safe for the car? How are you guys doing this? Do you want to explain a little bit about that? And we can we can pause again and stop all of our recordings just because we have so many phones doing so many things. But yeah, let's pause for 1 second. So let's talk about how you guys are able to do that. There's a lot of talk about V2G, V2L, V2X, standards, ISO standards, but let's talk about the technical side of this, of like how you're able to do that.
Okay, so we we are basically, from a charging perspective, in a very mature standards environment, right? EV charging has been around for a long time. Everything works, everything's fine. When we start talking about discharging an EV, that's when we get into a little bit of a gray area. And that gray area is that we are pre-industry standard, in a pre-industry standard environment. So we are today using the smart charging standard to connect to a car. That's how we can charge any car out there. And that's the ISO 15118-2 standard, which is a smart charging standard. It allows the car and the charger to communicate, and the charger and the car will automatically cooperate to charge the car. There's no manual intervention necessary.
Yeah, it's the car saying, this is how much I need.
Exactly.
The charger saying, this is how much I can provide.
Yes.
State of charge, all of that communication protocol, and most importantly, the safety protocol. So it's the car is going like, I'm safe. Charger's going, I'm safe. They check the cable, all of that. That's all in that one big standard.
Exactly. And there's also a rudimentary kind of discharging functionality in that standard. But when we talk about discharging, the whole industry is working towards the next standard, which is the ISO 15118-20 standard. And that will basically really make the discharging functionality a full-featured function. So EV makers have to work towards that standard. We are working towards that standard. We will have that standard probably by the end of the year. And then when we interact with EVs that also comply to that standard, out of the box, we have full functionality. The EV is going to have their own user interface where you as the driver can see, oh, I'm discharging my car, and there's going to be a lot more communication, right? So today, we are working with the preliminary standard, so with the smart charging standard. And so it's a handshake. So we shake hands with the car, we can charge, and then we can command the vehicle to discharge. And so that is how we're doing it today. It is not an official, we don't have any official cooperations at this point with any of the EV makers. So the disclaimer here is that the EV maker has full power over their EV, and they can shut down the discharging functionality at any time, right? So even though we can discharge cars where the EV maker says, yes, we don't support bidirectional charging, we can discharge most of them, and in that pre-industry discharging standard.
Right.
There are cars.
So you do have to, like, if you are going to invest in this, you might want to think about that.
Yes, exactly.
That there could be a potential issue with somebody like the Mach-E. The Ford could actually turn that off.
Exactly.
But then also, you guys are going to support whatever standard there is. So you may lose functionality, but your next EV is going to have it. Yes.
So again, the whole industry is working towards the -20 standard. And now, however long that takes for each EV maker, it's gonna be pretty fast for us once we comply to that standard. And then every EV that complies to that standard, we can discharge. Now, again, in the meantime, there is a gray area. So any buyer has to make that decision. Do I want to take that risk, right? You will never lose the charging. So this device can charge up to 25 kilowatts using all three power sources together. So importing from the grid, whatever the solar can contribute and whatever the batteries can contribute. So we can charge your EV at up to 25 kilowatts, which is much, much higher than any other home charger, right? And we can do that continuously. The discharging, that's where there's some risk for any buyer who buys a device like this before the industry standards are fully supported by enough industry participants, right? So that's the risk that homeowners might have to take.
And they definitely need to balance that out. But we also know, like we were just talking about this off camera, is like if you buy a F-150 Lightning and the Ford system, or like the Silverado and their system, or Tesla and their system, they're sort of proprietary. They're basically, it's like, you know, if you get another Tesla, I'm sure you're okay. If you get another Ford, you're probably okay. But if you switch from Ford to Chevy, you probably have to rip everything off the wall.
Yes, exactly. That's the difficulty with proprietary systems. And we, from day one, we wanted to build a system that works for all. And that's why we are going to that standard. So the hardware is ready. The software is ready. The industry standards are not quite ready. The EV makers are not quite ready. So in the meantime, we can discharge most cars with a smart charging standard that they comply to and that we comply to. And then we'll just have to see how long it takes every EV maker to comply to the new standard. Right?
Yeah, I know. Even the NACS, you know, those type of standards, those take a while because they want to make sure everybody's on board and everybody has their revisions and things like that. So I know the whole industry's been working towards that. But I can tell you, you know, our audience probably knows, you know, seeing us going to CES and EV Charging Summit. It's always like, I think every charging company out there is like, next year, next year we're going to be able to do Vita, whatever. But this is really cool to see it actually taking place. And I also want to hit on the fact that the industry is moving that way. One of the things that can help the industry move that way quicker is people like us going, hey, Ford, hey, Chevy, hey, whatever.
Right.
Support this standard.
Yeah.
And like, yes, your proprietary standard is great, but we want interoperability.
Yeah.
Like we wouldn't buy a Ford or a Chevy if we could only charge it at Ford or Chevy.
Exactly.
We won't go into the whole Tesla supercharger network. That may be a bit different, but it's like, it really is on us to like, you know, when we're talking to a dealer, when we're talking to whoever, to go like, does it support ISO 1511 8-20, which none do right now, but that's going to be a question that we're all going to have to start asking and demanding. And us, when we go to the Detroit Auto Show, we're going to ask, is it going to support that? So very cool.
Exactly. Yes. The other thing is there's another application out there that some regions in the US already use. That's the VPP business model. So virtual power plants. So utilities are very interested in having a virtual distributed, you know, having access to a virtual distributed energy network. So let's say there are 10,000 home batteries in the San Diego area, right? San Diego Gas and Electric is very interested in being able to have access to all of them, and at certain points during the day, during the week or the year, they want to be able to discharge those home batteries to smooth out their grid operations, right? And so home batteries usually are much smaller than EV batteries. And so now with this V2X charger, it opens up the virtual power plant space in a big way for utilities, because now they might have, or they have the promise of having access to 150 kilowatt hours or 100 kilowatt hours, whatever is in that EV, right? Which is much, much larger than in a home battery system. So we can actually do a lot to provide services back to the utility, and they will pay you for that. So that we live more sustainably, so they don't have to turn on peaker plants, which are very inefficient, but they're needed, right, at this point. So that's sort of what's coming in the future, right? So this is actually not just a toy for homeowners, but it has a potentially a very big impact on how we live and how we use power in terms of our society.
Yeah, I you know, we've talked about a little bit of that on our channel as like, first of all, dispelling the myth that EVs are going to kill the grid. This is one of those cases where EVs are going to actually help the grid out. But like that bigger picture of being able to control our energy usage. And it's like, I could choose not to participate in the VPP program, or I could say like, you know what, there's like 7 days per year where California's you know, heat wave peaking out. Yes, those 7 days pay me some money. Doesn't really affect me. You know, I get my car, instead of having 200 miles of range in the morning, I have 150. But I made money on that. So it's a win-win. And as you said, it's like they don't have to have those very expensive peak power plants that cost everybody a lot of money. just to maintain for those 7 days out of the year or whatever.
Exactly.
So, yeah, it really is. Like, I think we're doing this whole energy shift, and we think about it as like the EV is just transportation, but it really is going to unlock a whole lot of different possibilities. And we're not even talking about, you know, these other functions in this system that if you live someplace that has frequent power outages, you now have no worries about that.
Exactly.
So it really is a game changer, and you guys are at the forefront.
Yeah.
Now, as a consumer, and if I'm like, I am 100% sold, I want to get this system, what's the best way of finding Sigenergy / Point Guard and getting the conversation started?
Yeah, so consumers can go to our website, and we are developing functionality where you can find an installer in your area. You can always email us or call us, and we can refer installers in the area that you live. So there's a way to find good installers that are certified to install this system and to commission it.
And two follow-ups to that. So I'm imagining, so like we use Baker Energy, which is a very big local company that's been here for decades. If they don't support this, I can tell them, like, go find Sigenergy and become certified.
Yes.
But all that applies to really any installer, right? They can reach out to you guys, learn about your system, and learn how they can offer that to homeowners.
Yes. Yes. So any solar installer can take our certification training. There's a test at the end of the training to make sure that the information is retained and that they're actually qualified and know what they're talking about. And so then they can come out and install and set the system up to the point of what the homeowner wants to use it for, right? So that's very easy to do on our website, and any installer can contact us to do that.
And I think it shows the strength of Sigenergy. Like, one of the things that you guys have is, you know, a lot of people that are getting into this space are coming from different sides of the equation. So you have like, you know, EV car companies getting into this space, but you guys are coming at it not from a power company or whatever. You're coming from solar.
Right.
So that's already sort of geared toward of like, I'm going to take a little bit of control of how my power is. And now you're just expanding it. So it really shows that that's where that thinking came from.
That's right. And so this whole solution becomes your home energy management system, right?
Right.
It's not just only solar anymore, right? Where, you know, in the past we only bought electricity from the utility. Then when solar came, we started producing it, using it in our home, and then selling it back to the utility. When batteries arrived, now we're storing it and intelligently dispatching it for different purposes. And now with the addition of your EV, the functionality is even higher. So we're now talking about not just solar anymore, we're talking about full home energy management capability with this solution.
That's very, very cool. Now, you've done some field testing with various cars. So like, you knew our Mach-E was going to work. Adam has a Mach-E that works. But like, our Equinox is not on that list. Where can I go, or where can people go and find a list of what cars have been field tested?
Yeah, so we have field tested between 50 and 60 EVs just out, you know, with customers' systems. And so we've published that list on our website. If you go to the Sigenergy website, and we'll share the link in the video, we have a full list of which cars we've tested and which cars are working, right? So that's,
very cool.
That list is constantly growing as we're testing more. So you can always refer back to that list to see.
And the key word there is field tested. So like the Mach-E, Ford does not say this is something that they do, but you guys have tested it. It does work. But we do, you know, as I said, it's like we have some consumer power. So like in a Mach-E, for example, I can go hit that feedback button on the screen. If you don't know about it, we have a video, but on the screen, I can hit feedback and go like, hey, Ford, I'm in a Mach-E. You should support what Sigenergy is doing, right?
Yeah, exactly. No, I think we need everybody's help to give feedback to your EV manufacturer to make sure that they start supporting the standards and start supporting products like ours, because it's just better for the end user to be able to use a system that works for all EVs rather than a proprietary system, right?
Yeah.
EV manufacturers can still have their own proprietary systems, that's fine. But please help us to get them to support our system and others that are coming out on the market soon. It's just better for everybody.
Yeah, and I was just saying, like, we can do the screen, but there's support lines, there's dealers.
Yeah.
Just let's spread the word
Mm-hmm.
and get everybody on the same standard, because, you know, for me, whatever it is like, I don't want proprietary anything. I want open standards. This is going to be open standards, just a better solution for everybody.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for showing us the system and arranging with Adam to come out here and do this. It also goes to show you guys are really have a good customer relationship and have helped Adam out. He has nothing but good things to say about you guys. So thank you for setting all this up today.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for having me.
All right, thanks.
Well, that is it. That is our time here at Adam's house with his whole Signergy system by Point Guard, now Signergy. This is so awesome. You guys will have to let us know your thoughts, but I'm blown away.
Yeah, no, this is just really amazing. Like I said a couple of times in the video, I think the future of power and energy is like us as consumers being able to have more say and more control. And of course, just as Mach-E owners, it's something that we've heard people say to us numerous times, like, I wish the Mach-E could do bidirectional. And we got to see it take place right here. It was super cool to see that, but also all the flexibility that the system has. I wish this was available when we put in our solar system. This might be in our future still at some point. I'm really excited to see where they go with this, and cannot emphasize enough. Ask your EV manufacturer, are they supporting Sigenergy, but just overall ISO 15118-20 as it becomes the standard, because we do not want proprietary. We want these open standards, and I love that Sigenergy is leading the charge.
Yeah, I love that.
Did not mean to make a pun.
I know. We'll leave all the details down below. If we find any links or ways to make it easier for you guys to contact your automakers, we'll leave that down below too. Obviously, like Patrick said, you can do the voice memo and the Mach-E, which is really awesome. But I love that we literally just powered Adam's house with our Mach-E, our giant 97, how many kilowatt hour?
99.
99 kilowatt hour battery that we're rolling around with. Like this, you've been talking about this for ages. So like,
yeah.
This is the dream, like that we could power our home with all of this enormous power that's just sitting in your car all day. If you're hanging out at home and you have all of this like in your garage, if you're fortunate enough to have a garage, it's so awesome that this collaborative system that Sigenergy has can harness all of this together. The app looks amazing. I want to play with that just to like play with it. It looks so cool.
Yeah, that's something that we want to dive into more on the channel. Is like, there's a lot of companies that have EV charging and whatnot, but it's like, you're going to be really just interfacing with the app. And so then therefore that becomes an important aspect of how you, it reacts. The interface looks fantastic, as you can see from the screen recordings. So I'm just super excited. Again, all the information is going to be down below that we can help you out with Sigenergy, maybe some contact info if we can find it for any of the EV manufacturers. But also make sure you leave comments down below if you have any questions. We can reach out to Sigenergy, get those answers. But like, what do you think about this technology? Are you excited by this? What features do you want to see in your power system? Yeah,
we love having those conversations with you. So get busy in the comments. Let us know your thoughts. So on that note, thank you so much for joining us for this video where we checked out this amazing Sigenergy system, this whole system here at Adam's house. Thank you so much, Adam. And a huge thank you to our patrons whose names are scrolling across the screen right now. We appreciate you guys so very, very much, as well as you, our YouTube members too, and you for watching, liking, subscribing, all of that. And just remember that whatever you drive and however you charge it,
or if you charge a car, or charge the battery,
or your house, or whatever,
the air conditioning, or get some solar,
all of that
too
stuff.
many things.
Enjoy the charge.
Yeah, sure.
Sure.